grinder mentality. I grind for the feeling, I'm a real ass nigga. These niggas, they counterfeited. Staying true to my religion, they thinking that I'm a Christian. Mama thinking I'm a villain, but I'm expressing my feelings.
Welcome back to the Rich Mentality Podcast. Hey, what's good, y'all? Hey, man, I definitely have a lot to express. Let y'all know it's been a lot been going on, but as we do, as usual, man, drop in the comments. Let me know how y'all been doing. Drop in the comments. Let me know, any new trends, any new thing that's been going on that y'all want to speak on. And, we just going to get to it, man. It's been a lot going on. So as I said, man, drop in the comments. Let me know how y'all been doing. Drop in the comments any new trends, any new gems, any, new educational things that y'all want to discuss. So anything like that, drop in those comments. But for myself, I took my first flight. I went to Arkansas because I just became a part of this tour. It's called the ODH tour, and it's actually helping someone else working their podcast as well. And I've been taking care of the production and stuff like that, yada yada. So with that being said, man, when you fly for your first time, it's gonna be crazy. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, I took the whole video. I actually wasn't by the window. I met a cool guy by the name of Dana, man. He got the same name as my uncle, and he was super cool, super dope. And I met his wife as well. They was all cool people. So I go through the regular process, of like going through the going to the airport, of course catching the Uber to get to the airport, going to the airport, then going through like the atrium and seeing that long line. And mind you, I used to work in the airport, so I have like a different perspective from everyone else, like who go to the airport. So this was my time of going through a different, going on a whole nother occasion from a different perspective. So I actually feel what the the people who are gonna fly, what I'm saying, like the passengers is really feeling. So I get there. I'm in this long line, but it was already expected. Then once I go through the long line, of course you got to go through TSA. You got to take your shoes off. You got to do all that, right? All right. After that, I went directly to where the train was, like the plane train. The plane train actually gets you from point A to point B. So with that being said, I was on Concourse C. Boom. So I get the Concourse C. All right. Once I get there, I'm already super kind of close to my gate. I had to walk a little bit, but I'm kind of close to my gate. So as I'm getting close to this gate, my apprehension and my anxiety is starting to kick in. But I'm not really letting nobody know this because I gotta be a man about it. You got to be a man. You got to stand strong. You got to stand your full 10 toes, especially as a man. So with that being said, now I'm getting closer and closer to hopping on this plane. Right. For those who want to know who I flew with, I did fly Southwest. Yes, I ain't even gonna cap with you. I flew Southwest, but it was smooth though. It was smooth, right? So now I'm going through anybody know who fly. You can't just hop on the plane unless you got a private jet that lets down the ladder or the stairs. You have to walk through this. It's like this tunnel, and it leads you directly to the plane. So I hop on the plane. Boom. I'm cause I'm documenting everything that I'm doing as well. As I hop on this plane, I'm like, bro, this is crazy. It's a real plane that's about to go 30,000, 40,000 feet in the air. So the apprehension is going even crazier. But I'm not really letting nobody know because, again, you gotta be a man about it. And not only that, it was something that needed to be done. I needed to go ahead and pop my airplane cherry. I never been on the plane, right? So hop on the plane, met this cool guy, Mr. Dana, but before I actually call myself meet him, or I would consider as a meet, I was actually about to go past him and his wife, but as I realized, I was like, man, I don't want to sit that back, and I don't want to sit that far back in the plane. So I was like, hey, y'all mind if I sit down right here? For some reason, man, my spirit just was sit right here. So I'm like, cool. So sit down, chilling, and pretty much introduce myself. They introduced themselves as well. It was cool from that point on. It legit felt like I had already knew them. Legit. Sometimes I just feel like God placed people in your life because He know what you can and He know what you can't bear. He will never put more on you that you cannot bear. So I feel like they was put in that position, for my comfort, for just my first time experience, right? Most people, for you who don't know that, if you ride by yourself, your plane ride can definitely be long because you in the air. You don't know nobody. You just up there. Now, unless you just been flying for, like, you got this experience and you just been flying forever. Okay, cool. That's different, right? So sitting down. So now, like, I'm recording the whole process. Actually, I had Mr. Dana to record the whole process. So he's recording the whole process. Boom. Just from the airplane taxiing, right? And for those who don't know, a plane do not drive. They taxi. Like, a plane does not drive. They taxi. So the plane taxiing, we just sitting down on the ground. And the lady, his wife was like, Miss Robin, she was like, yep, so we moving up. I was like, we going up? She was like, yeah. I was like, no, like, are we going up? So I'm thinking that the plane is going up. But the plane is right now is just taxiing. It's moving super slow. It's barely moving, right? It's just backing up, getting right into position so it can get over to the runway and all of this stuff. Also checking the plane and stuff like that. And mind you, they check the plane before you get on, right? They just, it's so precautious. They take cautious procedures to make sure that when you go up 30,000 feet in the air, that y'all gonna be good, right? So we do that, and now we get closer to the runway. So out of nowhere, he was just like, all right, here it is. We finna go up. And I was like, we finna go up right now? And I was like, yep. So I'm like, man. Next thing you know, bro, it's like going like 100 miles per hour. Then it's going like 200, 300, 400. Like, it's going so fast. Like, it looked like the lines in the cement or the lines in the road just look like a hamster wheel, but times 10. Like, you ever been in the car going like 80? It's like times 10 on the plane, right? So finally go up. It take off. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I never experienced something like that before. So I get up. We go up. We like 10,000 feet in the air. Like, 10,000 feet don't really scare me too much because you still can see what's on the ground. You still can see, cars and stuff like that. Then I went up another 10,000 feet. And the things that look like an ant, you start to like diminish. All right. So now we go up like 30,000. This is like the typical height that you're gonna go whenever you're on the plane. You're gonna go like 10,000. 30,000. And sometimes they may go up another altitude of 10,000, which means you'll probably be up there for like 40,000 feet. Look, I felt like I was an angel. Like, for real. I didn't know that you can go that high up in the sky. It's crazy. And as you go up higher in the sky, your ears are going to pop. And it's just crazy. So that's why most people say chew gum or whatnot. But, yeah, that was crazy. So, I finally do it. I'm recording my videos. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I'm so high in the sky. I never been this high in the sky. It's my first flight. But thanks to Miss Dana and his wife, they pretty much made it, as if I wasn't even in the air. We was chopping it up, telling jokes, and, it was what it was. And of course, I'll be flying out a lot more because of, what I do. But now, that was like, I pretty much popped my first cherry of being in the airplane. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got it out the way. It was cool, but 50% is like, I don't want to fly again. And 50% is like, so let's do it again. Roddy Rich says, I don't want to fly again. I take my chances in traffic. Like, I get it now. Like, bro, like, no, I don't want to fly again. Ever. Don't put me on another plane. I don't want to fly. I take my chances in traffic. And you feel a lot more safer in traffic. I'm just going to be real. Like, you just feel a lot more safer. So, that's how it was on the way back. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it was on the way there. And once I got like kind of closer to land and started seeing that we was finna land in Arkansas, I was like, yo, I'm good, man. I'm straight. We here. I'm safe, right? Got back up on the way back. Now, that was a scary ride because for you who don't know about plane rides or like the wind and air pockets and all that stuff, it causes turbulence. Turbulence is when you hitting these air pockets and the plane starts shaking. So you're thinking that you're going down, but in actuality, you're not. right? Like in actuality, you're not going down. You're just hitting winds. You know, you're going against the wind, and you're in these air pockets. And as you're in these air pockets, you know, it causes turbulence. So it causes the plane to crash. But that experience was crazy as well. Like just going back and looking at the people reactions on the plane. Now you could tell who been flying for a minute. You could tell who haven't. But like the people who haven't, they're looking like, bro, everything good? Because you gotta think about it. Although your feet is on flat surface, I don't care what you talk like. Although your feet is on flat surface, the fact of the matter is you 30,000, 40,000 feet in the air, straight up. It ain't nothing that you can do. Straight up. I'm talking about it's like nothing that you can do. So you gotta like really be mindful of that, for real. You know, I got my first plane ride out the way, there and back. You know what I'm saying? And it was cool, you know. But like I said, 50% I like it. 50% is like, bro, do not put me on another airplane. If I can get there on Greyhound, if I can get there on a train, a bus, even a Sprinter van, whatever the case is, put me on that, bro. I seen a lot of real stuff, and being 40,000 feet in the air is one of the realest of them. Like I saw my granddad die, you know what I'm saying, in room 314. I seen a car. I was in a car crash going 70 miles per hour towards a tree, still survived. And I was recently in a car accident as well. The realest thing I ever saw in my life is being 40,000 feet in the air, having no control over your life. No control. At any moment, it can go down at any moment. So that was a crazy experience that I wanted to let y'all know about, man. It was super crazy. But I do want to speak about the gas prices. What the hell is going on? Like, I was riding, right? And cause you know, I have some things going on legally that I cannot speak on, right? But I'm gonna just say this: I got my car, and when I was riding, I saw that gas said for like $4.19. I was like, what? Like what? And then I saw it said $4.39. I'm like, yo, what is going on? I never saw gas this high ever. Like I always seen like $2.89. You know, I've seen $2.20 before. Saw $2.89, $2.20 on the low end, and on the high end, the highest I probably ever saw gas was like $3.89 or like $3.70. But it really shows like the supply and demand and how important economics is. Because if you have a supply, you know, and it's low if you have low supply and that supply is in demand, they're gonna raise that price up, right? And it shows you how important you got to have of your own stuff. Like it shows how important of owning your own stuff is. Like it's super imperative, super important, because at any moment somebody can jack up the prices and say this is what you got to pay. They can jack up the prices and say this is what it is now if you don't have your own. And it's not only with gas, it's with anything that you do in life, right? Like if you own your own book company, nobody can tell you where you can publish, you know. But if you partnered, or if you, well, not necessarily partner, because partner could be a great thing. Y'all can have the same amount of power, you know, quote unquote. But if you're depending on this production company or this publishing company to, you know, produce your books, well, the moment they pull the plug, you don't have any books no more. You can't, you know, publish your books. And that's the same thing with this gas. Like, as a people, we got to have our own stuff. As a community, we got to have our own stuff, whether that's agriculture, electronics, you know, medical, our own jobs. We got to control our own destiny. But it's a prime example. Like gas is $4.19. There's nothing that we can do about it because the supply of it, right, it's low and it becomes in demand. So that's the power of economics, supply and demand. It's just something that I just was like, yo, I can't believe gas $4.19. I just can't believe it. We're in a whole nother time. You know, the Ukraine and the Russia war is going on. It's crazy. We're living in the textbooks. And what I mean by living in the textbooks is that these are things that they're going to talk about, you know, as time progresses. It's going to be history, right? It's going to be history. I honestly feel like it's going to be another World War III, just being real. I mean, it says it in the scriptures. And not only that, but just the way of it's going, you know. Whenever you have two territories that are both powerful and that they are both willing to do whatever to win, it can go either or, because you got allies on both sides, right? And now you just caused a whole world war. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy of how one or two, communities or territories or countries can cause a world war. It's amazing. But man, the gas prices are high. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna dwell on that too much. But I will say the fact of the day is, what is the meaning of an alien? Right? What's the meaning of an alien? What I mean by, like, what's the meaning of an alien? Most people, when you think of aliens, you think of, oh man, this green thing that's right here, or this guy with one eyeball, he come from Mars, he come from Jupiter, whatever the case is. This is what they made you think. This is what they made us think, right? But the truth is, an alien, right? Fact of the day, an alien is an individual that comes from a foreign land or belongs to a foreign land. So which means, if I'm from the south side of Atlanta and I've never been to the west side of Atlanta and I go there, I've become an alien because I belong to the south side. So the west side is foreign land to me, right? Like it's foreign land to me. Just as well as people say, oh well, COVID-19, we got this many cases, 100,000 cases, or whatever the case is 100,000 of those cases COVID, or is it the flu, just other type of sicknesses, diabetes or whatever the case is? They just adding it in to those numbers. And that's the same thing with aliens. A person who come from China and come here, a person that come from China and come to the US, they are a foreigner. They have become an alien. So are you adding that to the alien list? Because if so, then that's falsifying. An alien is a person that come from a foreign land or belongs to a foreign land. That's the meaning of an alien, bottom line. And a lot of people don't know that. They think that it's these guys that's in a spaceship, they screaming phone home and they floating and they got powers, and no, that's an alien. Now, I'm not saying that they don't exist. Straight up. I'm not saying that, because they can. But what I am saying, the definition of an alien is not that. They may be talking about extraterrestrials, but an alien is not that, right? So with that being said, I would like to speak on, I want to say this, Hog Island. And I want to give you the whole synopsis of Hog Island. So Hog Island was an island that was in the Caribbean. And this guy who was a multimillionaire, he traveled the world. He looked at multiple places. He's seen a lot of places. And for some reason, he looked at this place called Hog Island. Now, again, remember this. Something is exactly what you call it, right? So if you call yourself rich, you call yourself beautiful, handsome, smart, intelligent, millionaire, successful, you will be that. If you call yourself, I'm fat, you call yourself, I'm ugly, I'm this, I'm that, then you're going to be that. So mind you, Hog Island is a place that had a whole bunch of hogs on it. It was trashed. It was a place in the Caribbean. It was a trash place, super trash. This multi-millionaire, he looked at this place and said, I want to turn this into paradise. And the guy looked at him and said, you crazy? All these hogs, all these wild animals on this place, and you want to turn this into paradise? He said, yeah. He said, why? Because I see gold in the ghetto. I'm going to say that one more time. He said, because I see gold in the ghetto, meaning I see the power and I see the infrastructure of something that can be big, although it's not in the same position that it is going to be once I get it to that point, but I see the potential in it. See, some of y'all got potential that y'all don't even know that y'all have. And God is looking down saying, look, I'm finna turn this drunk into an author. I'm about to turn this drunk, into an individual of power, and put and exalt him into a position of power. I'm about to turn this murderer into an individual, who can influence and impact millions. Something is exactly what you call it. Something is exactly what you call it. So what I'm saying is that although you call yourself these things, you don't know your true potential. So this guy, he's looking at Hog Island. It got nothing but just hogs on it, wild animals, and trash everywhere. It's a ghetto. It's a ghetto. And he looked at it and said, I see paradise. So when God look at you, he see paradise. When God look at you, he sees somebody special. He sees somebody smart. He sees somebody intelligent. He sees somebody with an enormous amount of potential. He sees somebody who can change the world. But the problem is you don't see it. The problem is you don't know what you can do. How many of you are hog islands but don't see paradise within yourself? How many of you are hog islands but don't see paradise within yourself? That's major. You want to see the potential in yourself, because we all have greatness. It's just a matter of getting into it. It's a matter of developing the qualities to get to that next level, to be exalted into that next level, right? So what I'm saying is that for those who are hog islands, for those who have potential, for those who see the greater good within themselves, or for those who are not where they are, it doesn't mean that you don't have enough. It doesn't mean that you are not enough. It doesn't mean that you won't make it to the point that where you're trying to go. It doesn't mean that, right? It just doesn't mean that. You are hog island, but you're about to turn into paradise, right? Because God see your potential. I mean, people around you see your potential, but you don't. And what's amazing that this guy, who saw gold in the ghetto, what's amazing about this guy is that he saw this island that was trash. Nobody wanted to go there. It's basically like a project. It's a ghetto. It's like a project. And nobody wanted it. But he saw the potential inside it. And now it's one of the most beautiful places in the Caribbean. The place was once called Hog Island. It had hogs, wild animals, all that. But now it's one of the most beautiful places in the world, in the Caribbean. So realize that you have more to offer than just, what people may see or what you may see. Everybody got a special gift within them. It's just about getting it out, because it's gold in the ghetto. So even if you're in a small city, nobody will never find you. Or you feel like nobody will never find you because you're in a small city. It doesn't mean that. We live in a time where you could post something on the internet and it goes viral the same day, or it goes viral the next month or the next year, right? And not a whole word in your name for that particular gift that you discovered inside yourself and presented to the world. It's a gift. Whenever you give the gift to someone, what they do, they open it and they're appalled. It's a gift. And that's what you have to do with yourself. But remember, something is exactly what you call it. And it's gold in the ghetto. People don't understand what that means. It's gold in the ghetto. And what I mean by that is, in the ugliest places, maybe in the ugliest person, it's gold inside the ghetto. Right? In the most dangerous places, the most absurd places, it's gold in the ghetto. You have to understand that some of the worst places, or some of the worst gardens, produces the best fruit. Some of the worst gardens produce the best fruit. Why? Because it's gold in the ghetto. It don't matter where you are in life. It doesn't matter where you are as an individual. All you got to do is just release your potential, and you'll be notified for that gold in the ghetto. It doesn't matter where you are. You don't got to go to a gold mine just to, discover gold. You ever heard of metal detectors? So understand that something is exactly what you call it. Something is exactly what you call it. Now, for those who've been tuned into this podcast, y'all already know, man, I do a segment in this podcast that's called One Way to Make $1 Million. So I'm going to dive directly into it and let y'all know. Real estate, right? As mundane and cliche as it may sound, definitely join real estate. Find it, because there's multiple ways to make money within real estate. There's multiple ways to, make lucrative cash flow in real estate. One of the ways is just regular rent. That's cash flow. So if you got 10 homes, let's start off small. Let's say if you got one home and you make $2,500 from that home, and you pay your living expenses, and you pay all expenses or whatever the case is, right? And it may add up to $1,500. Well, you just made $1,000 in that month. You made $1,000 in that month. Well, you continuously keep doing that, you can make $1 million as you Make the right calculations and save as you build. Save as you build. So that's one way to make, I'm actually giving y'all the game because I'm giving y'all 5 ways, all into one. So check it out. So 1 is just straight rent. 2, you want to do an equity capture. And what that means is you buy for less and sell for more. So you may see a home that you want to buy for $20,000. You may find a home, it costs $20,000. You may fix it up or whatever the case is, and you sell for more. You bought it for $20,000, you may sell it for $50,000. So now you just made a $30,000 profit. You just bought a home and sold it. You bought a home for less and sold it for more. That's another way of making, money, and that's called equity capture, right? So the next one is market appreciation. So market appreciation is when it goes up into value over time. So it may take a year, it may take 2 years, it can take even 10 years. But as your home, appreciate within that market, so does your cash flow. You make more money over time, and you can, pull that out for a bank. You could take a loan out on the money that you have. That's market appreciation. So that's another way that you can make, money from your home. Principal pay down. And what that is you accumulate equity, as the note gets paid down. So as you, accumulate the equity, as you pay the note down, you make money from it. That's principal pay down, right? Principal pay down. And the next one is tax advantage. So with a tax advantage, you avoid capital gains tax when you sell. So what people don't know is that as you have a home, there are certain taxes that you have to pay, but you can avoid it by using a 1031 tax exchange. So how do you do that? That's if you pass the property to your kids or whoever the case is, right? And they would take over at the new cost basis, which wipes out all of the capital gains over the life of that assets. So it start over. Once you pass it down, it start over, right? So, and a lot of people don't understand, but you beat the system as you find loopholes for certain taxes, because when you have a home, there's certain taxes that you have to pay, but if you do it the right way, you won't have to pay those taxes. So it's just something to think about. Definitely one way to make $1 million is joining real estate. You definitely want to stay tuned into that. And again, if y'all got anything that y'all want me to speak on, anything that y'all can see as the show can progress or help the show progress, as well as myself, let me know. Stay connected with me. Like I said, man, this is the hub of Wealthy Minds, and this is what we all come and bring our rich mentalities so we can stay tuned and just grow as individuals. That's what it's all about. We all got to grow as individuals. So with that being said, man, I definitely want to say thank y'all for tuning in, and be sure to check out, all 4 of my books: Fairly Unequal, Rich Mentality, Traumatized by Love, 8 Steps to Self-Publishing a Successful Book. Also, click the link in my bio. You can actually click that link to see how you can become a self-published author, as well as my clothing line, Rich Mentality Attire. Hey, man, y'all just tuned into the hub of Wealthy Minds. So keep a rich mentality. Peace.